Captured by Women is brought to you by Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow.
Good afternoon and welcome to your favorite Saturday show, Captured by Women. We thank you so much for always joining us. Of course, this show is sponsored by Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. Today on The Spin, we will be talking about the free SHS and the concerns so far. It seems like all the brouhaha surrounding it seems to have gone down, but earlier this week, it came up again because the government or minority is saying that some payments have not really been made as government is saying it has. Then also on Big Bang, we'll be talking about tramadol abuse and Mental Health Authority, because Dr. Kwesi Osai and the Mental Health Authority have been saying government have not really paid a good promise when it comes to dealing with mental health in Ghana, and he's daring them to prove him wrong. But I guess the minister has also come on the back of it to respond, and we'll be talking about that. Then we'll also go on to talk about a woman who is doing so well in the field of being a model, a TV presenter, and a producer. And she has been helping ladies who have Warrenberg syndrome to come out, the ladies with blue eyes, as you may have seen. We'll be talking about how well she's doing in her field. Then finally, we'll talk about nail care. You know how some people are addicted to biting their nails or peeling off their nail gel and all that? We'll talk about it and see how best we can stop it, because it certainly is a bad habit. That's what we have here for you on Captured by Women. Don't change that station. Make a promise to stay with us throughout the entire period. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back. There's a conversation that we hope will never go away in our political and our national discussions, and that's the discussion around education. We do know that education is very important for our national development, and of course, our political parties have made a very strong case about this. We have had several discussions around free SHS, and we know that it's quite a very important discussion within our political sphere. And so today we're going to be talking about free SHS, the conversations around it, the indications by the minority about the challenges of the system, but generally, what are the issues? But the question then is, when we talk about free SHS, what are the challenges? How are we addressing the challenges? Are we able to fund it, for instance? Is it just accessibility that we're looking at, or are we also considering the issues of quality?
I mean, we all understand and agree that the free SHS program is laudable, and we also know that every new thing that is introduced has teething problems. So in terms of the objective and what it seeks to achieve, there's a consensus on it. But we also know that on the flip side, there are challenges. As to the magnitude of the challenges, as compared to whether it bears some issues on the quality, is also debatable. For me, I think that, coming on the back of what the former president said, and the education ministry countering it. The issue is that when you look at how the program has rolled out, I think the government is doing well in trying to deal with the issues, but the thing for me is to have a non-partisan issue to discuss a non-partisan discussions around are there genuine concerns that we need to talk about. It's a good program, we all love it. But are there genuine concerns related to infrastructure, supplies, resources, and how can we all help to make this work? So for me, that is the crux of the matter. And I think that the education ministry has responded, and many people have their views on it. I don't know what you think.
Well, certainly, I think former president's issue, I'm not going to look at it from politics, whether it's NDC or MPP, but I'm just looking at it from the point where around the table the discussion is that free SHS has to happen. However, I think it's the modus operandi that differs, but everyone wants some sort of free basic education, so that's good. But when he raises that, argument about 30% being distributed, and then the Ministry of Education comes to also say, no, it's, a particular amount goes to central, only 20.9 comes to the schools direct, and so blah, blah, blah. Yes, then it means that really is an issue of funding and how the channels through which they go. And that's where right from the inception, the discussion really was that let's get it clear. Where is this thing going to be funded from? What sources are we getting our monies from? Because if you don't have that clear cut, outline, then it becomes difficult to sustain it, because we're not looking at when MPP leaves, NDC coming to change the whole modus operandi. Maybe they'll tweak it, maybe they'll change something, but at least the source of funding should be one fixed thing where we all know. So if I'm making contribution to that fund, I know that at least it's going to better someone's education, and then I'm happy about it, and I'll gladly contribute. Then again, it also comes to a very important thing that was raised. For me as a doctor, my concern is the funding of their hospital bills or taking care of them medically. I think we haven't looked at it holistically. We're just looking at the education, but recently it dropped because you realize that the children, school going, the people in Estes, I don't know how to call them. I know they're adults. So the students as of now are being, let's say Form 2, Form 3 are being billed with their school fees, because they pay fees as a then. So at the end of your term, your father knows you visited the hospital 2 times and you're billed for that. But looking forward to free SHS, where you're saying they shouldn't pay a dime. They should just pick the school uniform and come to school and learn. What happens to that? When a child is sick, how are they catered for? Particularly when they don't have national health insurance. So yes, it is laudable. But I think when there are genuine concerns, let's address them head on. Let's not say, okay, every, program has its teething problems. Yes, they have teething problems. But we've had these teething problems for too long.
Is that realistic though? This program is barely a year old.
It should.
So to have that
because Rosemond, that's what I'm saying. If we stop looking at it from MPP, NDC, CPP,
then
it will be.
I am with you on that one, but I'm saying that to have the expectation that this is a very new initiative.
It's not very new.
No, I'm saying the free SHS program, as in take your bags, go to school, you're not paying a dime. Right. It's fairly different or fairly new. So I think that in as much as we don't want to say that we agree, it's okay to have challenges. We also
need
have
to be realistic in expectations,
because definitely the issues will be there, but how we tackle it and the urgency with which we look at the issues.
That's why I'll come back to what you're saying, because even though it's new per policy saying free SHS where you pick your bag, you go to school, that whole thing of supplementing, say, textbook, IT, they've been there. But infrastructure has never been looked at. Are you saying that infrastructure has changed because now free SHS has come? So infrastructure for me, it's a big issue, and it's been there in ages past. It's just because now we've got huge numbers flooding the schools at once. But over time, almost every senior high school, when the meeting of heads, they talk about the infrastructure. If you're not increasing the space, why are you increasing the number of children?
The release that the ministry issued was clear that the stakeholders had come to some form of agreements regarding procurement, obviously not to overburden the public purse. So I think there's a general understanding among CHAS and other key stakeholders who are involved in this. And I also know that the president has said that I think they're going to fund going forward. The proposal or the decision is to fund it from the oil revenues. So I think that maybe going forward, these teething problems will be dealt with.
Truthfully, what have we heard about the oil revenues? That's always been a challenge, where we just mention where the funding source is, but how that funding source is really sourced is a big issue.
But
when we talk about this oil revenue, we don't even know where our oil revenue is going. Yes,
but
we
can found out.
Exactly, we haven't found out, but that's what, when people raise these legitimate questions,
but what I'm saying is that the president has made a bold statement to say that we are going to fund the free SHS from, I want to believe that there is some sort of mechanism that would ensure that if we're going to use the oil revenues, then there will be inflows. So I guess maybe we can hold on to that statement and use...
We can hold on, but Rosemond, we are just playing the devil's advocate, but the truth of the matter is we've been in this very country where taxes are being increased to supplement, say, electricity or water, some utility of some sort, but we're still in shambles. We've had times where we're paying road tolls to try and fix the roads. They're still the way they are. So yes, the president has said, and that means you can hold him to something because he promised it.
I would say in closing that we do have to think about education as a national conversation. We can't continue to talk about the education of our human resource only in partisan terms, because our human resource are the basic and the most important resource we have as a nation. And so it's about time that we begin to have a more objective look at how we organize education and how we look at it into the future. And I'm sure you have thoughts about education and free SHS. We do hope that we'll continue to engage. Citizen engagement is important to nation building. So we will continue to have these conversations. But we will take a quick break at this point, since we can't exhaust the discussion here. And when we come back, we'll continue with the show.
Welcome back. We're still here on your favorite Saturday show, Captured by Women. And on Big Bang 1 today, we'll be talking about tramadol abuse and its ascendancy and the fact that it really is becoming a menace in Ghana. Most people who abuse this drug are the youth, and it's very worrying because if we don't start discussing it now, we may lose out on the number of youth we have in the gainful, who are gainfully employed to work as a task force for the nation, and that has to be spoken about. We will be dealing with this issue with Mrs. Olivia Ajekumwa Boating. She's the head of substance abuse at the FDA, and Dr. Daniel Amenin Dankwa. He's the Deputy Registrar at the Pharmacy Council. Welcome to Captured by Women, gentleman and lady.
Thank you.
So let's go right into it. Tramadol abuse. And what is your initial take on it when you hear this abuse and the menace and how it's creeped slowly into the nation? I'll start with you, Mrs. Olivia.
Thank you very much for having us on your show. And in your intro, you rightly mentioned the tramadol is a synthetic opioid analgesic, what we call in our local parlance painkiller, and it's been registered to be used for managing moderate to severe pain. But it's a prescription-only medicine, so you would have to go to a facility, a doctor assesses your pain and would think that you require such a medicine and would prescribe it for a particular duration and would even tell you the possible side effects, even when you use it for the intended purposes. But we have this routine public education that we regularly do to the schools, and then we also undertake a lot of product quality monitoring. So these activities that we do, we uncovered or got to know that particularly the youth, even though most people are, other target groups are using it, market women, kaya, commercial vehicle drivers, it is predominantly being abused by the youth, simply because the product is such that if you do not use it as intended, you use excessive doses, you regularly use it or routinely use it, it will elicit similar effects on the brain, just that the hard drugs or the illicit drugs, marijuana, cocaine, that effect. You get the euphoria, you get this calming effect, you get the feeling of feeling high, and I mean, it will act like a performance enhancer or sexual enhancer. Those other purposes or those effects is what the people are using it for. So you rightly said, we do not as yet as a regulator have quantitative data on the extent of prevalence. We've started doing a research across the nation to find out how prevalent it is and which of our population is really using it. But the qualitative data we have now suggests that most people are using it and even more mixing it with other substances. So what we have on our hands is even multi-drug use, multi-substance abuse, which is of concern. So that's how we've intensified the public education among other regulatory interventions that we are taking.
Right. Doctor, let me come to you. You coming from the Pharmacy Council, when you hear these issues of abuse, when rightly you are trained to know when, how, and all that, the frequency and the dosing of these drugs, does it really bother you?
It's a serious bother. It's even beyond saying it bothers you, because we know the implications. And there is a trend, there is a growing trend, and that is quite worrying. Right. For me, I'm not looking at this issue as a tramadol issue. It is a broader issue of misuse of medications. Right. What the youth is currently doing is that they are combining medications and taking it at dosages beyond the prescribed dosages. Right. The moment you take the medication beyond the dosage prescribed, what you get is no longer a medicine, but something, a poison that is going to kill you. Every medicine approved by the Food and Drugs Authority that we are using, if you don't use it per the dose prescribed, what you are taking is not a medicine, but something that is killing you.
I mean, with what you've said, would we say that we are tackling the issue at the roots? Because these drugs are manufactured both in Ghana and are imported. We have, and are also dispensed over the counter, I mean, unauthorized. So is it, from what you said, it looks like the focus is on schools, but there are other key stakeholders who oversee how the drugs come in, how it's dispensed? What are we doing? It looks like that bit is out.
It is multifactorial, multifaceted. And before this question, you asked if we were engaging other stakeholders. What other thing have we done apart from the preventive strategies like doing the public education? Because you should get to those who haven't started to let them know it's that serious, so don't start. And for those who are doing it, to tell them this is what the dangers you are doing to your body, so quit. But they also need professional counseling or help because they're already addicted to it. But because of that multifaceted approach, there's this interagency or collaborative effect that we expect. Pharmacy Council is here. Once we have given market authorization and the product is on the market, we've done classification. So we've said that tramadol is prescription-only medicine. The practice issues, they are insisting that it is restrictive to being dispensed on a valid prescription. You mentioned over the counter. They are not supposed to be selling prescription-only medicines. Pharmacy Council does that. We are doing internally doing swoops and raids to rate the market of the influx of the unregistered products. We do not do it alone. We do it with customs. We do it with the police. Then we have done what we call pharmaceutical crime training. This thing that we are having on our hands is bigger than just an abuse. It's a pharmaceutical crime industry. What they do is to bring other substances that are of higher strength or they may not even contain any medicines at all. That trade is lucrative now. More than even the illegal or illicit drug marketing like the heroin and things, because most countries do not even have penalties and sanctions for these. So because this is more like a transnational organized crime, we have to involve the security agencies. We have to involve national security. We have to involve YOCO. We need information. Somebody bigger than the people we are arresting, the peddlers, the small boys. And most of them are very young, between 14 to 25 years. They are the people and most are even foreigners. Who is behind it? You need intelligence.
So
we have to
gather
gather
a very big issue. That
yes.
So,
but I'd like to involve Dr. Dankwa, because you sit on the Pharmacy Council, and so you understand the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of these drugs. When we talk about tramadol, but tramadol is one of those, but you even mentioned the abuse of many drugs in Ghana. I'm just wondering what the Pharmacy Council does when it comes to the educative part of it for letting Ghanaians understand the abuse of drugs, because it's not only the illicit. Like, Auntie Olivia rightly said, we have the licit ones that are also being abused. So to what extent does Pharmacy Council play a crucial role in this?
The issue is this. Prescription medicines are supposed to be sold on valid prescriptions. But what is the picture in Ghana? The question is that what happens in Ghana? And my answer is generally no.
But why though? Why should it not happen?
Because it comes back to your doorstep. That is it poor monitoring? Is it a lax system that allows people to just do what they want to do and damage the nation in the short term and in the long term? Is that a lax on your side, on the side of the Pharmacy Council?
You see, the issue goes beyond just saying it's a lapse. It is more of where are we coming from and how far have we gone? Because you cannot just get up today and get to that point where nobody can access a prescription-only medicine without a prescription. It takes countries some time through policy changes and through public education to be able to bring the practices in that country to that level.
Okay.
So if you look at where Ghana practice of medicine even started from, and pharmacy to be precise, it started as herbal concoctions where even dosages are not defined. You pour a cup, if you are holding a cup full, and that kind of thing. And we've been growing to where we are now. And you could see that we still haven't gotten to where we should be. So that is the challenge.
Is it that the patients are the ones being problematic? Because we also have the side of patients going and persisting and forcing, and maybe the person just feels like, I really just need to help this person.
A pharmacist can give certain drugs even without a prescription.
Yeah.
That is not to say that those medications cannot result into any problem
Any abuse.
or any abuse.
Yes.
but that is how the law is. So that is why I keep saying that the issues at stake goes beyond how we perceive it, because the system is quite complex. Okay, so Pharmacy Council continues to enforce the law in terms of prescribers or dispensers dispensing per the guidelines. But we admit that there are lapses in that. Certain medications are supplied. You can walk to a pharmacy and you may be able to get it without a prescription.
Let me ask Auntie Olivia, whilst we wrap up this segment, we know that earlier this week you held a stakeholder consultative meeting on the way forward. So what were the general outcomes of that meeting? Can you share that with us?
Okay, so in all our discussion, we realized that it's not just one institution like the regulator, so it's your problem. No, we cannot tackle it as a nation going forward. So apart from the training that we are doing for various institutions, like I mentioned, we go to the schools. Looking at our numbers, we can't get to all the schools. So the school health education program, you train them on the content, and they in turn will train the students. We are training the police. The way police would accost somebody when they find let's say, police patrol, they find a gun in a vehicle, the way they would handle that person, and the way when they see medicines being trafficked or being driven around, the way they would just think it's regular medicines and let it go. So they'd have to understand this pharmaceutical crime, this menace that we have on our hands. So we are doing the training for them. And then we also are collaborating a lot with National Security, National Road Safety Commission and DVLE. And then we also thought that, I mentioned intelligence gathering. Doctor was saying it, that you are trying to make sure practitioners comply. There should be good prescription habits. There should be good dispensing habits. But the system is not foolproof. Yet the licit system, because we monitor and make sure the distribution chain, the supply is safe, we are having on our hands very porous bodies where the illicit products are just, because the higher strength are just seeping through. And that has to be tackled. Otherwise, we always do this firefighting, do the raids. Next time you go, they are still there. That one needs a concerted, coordinated approach. That's why we did the interagency stakeholder consultation, to bring everybody on board, categorize their roles. So going forward, the police know they should do this to help us. We set up a task force. What are we going to do? Monitoring across the nation.
Indeed, we hope that interagency meeting will take us far in curbing this real menace of tramadol abuse. We have been speaking to Mrs. Olivia Jekumwa Boating. She's the head of substance abuse at FDA, and also Dr. Daniel Amenin Dankwa. He's the deputy registrar for the Pharmacy Council. On that note, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the show. On Big Bang 2 today, we're talking about mental health. Earlier this week, the executive director of the Mental Health Authority complained that they hadn't as yet received their 2018 budgetary allocation, and that was an apparent neglect of mental health, and even dared the ministry to prove him wrong. So the Captured by Women show interviewed him to get his response to what the executive director said. Let's watch this.
I'm a bit surprised at a very harsh word that either you or which authority we are talking about is
the director of the authority said that government is no longer concerned about the issue of mental health.
No, it's quite unfortunate. And I relate to the chief executive of the Mental Health Authority very closely. And if that is what is coming out, I don't know what might have prompted him to have said that. I still do not want to believe that that is what he said. We inherited massive debts with the Mental Health Authority. Last year, we managed to give them psycho medications. All we need to do to support mental health, I think government has been playing its part. And it's not only mental health. Almost all of us in the ministries, our goods and services, have suffered. If I tell you that we haven't been able to actually do nurse training allowances, we didn't know about teacher training allowances yet. It was only last week that we got indication of warrants having been released to the controller to be able to pay our nurse trainees as much as 3 months' salaries. I'm very pretty sure that what is due mental health will soon be done. And I don't think we will go to the end of the month before releases for goods and services to the health sector are done. Now that it's come up so critically into the public domain, I believe the Minister of Finance will set up and do the releases for us.
He also complained of medications and consumables at the facilities, that they now depend on the benevolence of good-willing people of the country.
That has always been the case. There has never been an occasion in this country where benevolent people, philanthropists, donors, having supported not only mental health, but our health systems. Like I told you earlier on, the whole year, not a single agency in the ministry or in the health sector has received any significant votes. We have all been relying on mega donor support that we are receiving for activities that we are running. So when there is a challenge, you all have to face it. This government didn't come to meet the largesse of money sitting down for us to just come and use to make everything feel so good. We are scraping through and scavenging to look at what we can do with the barest meager resources that we have for optimal benefits. And I think mental health authority should hesitate a little bit and look at what it is. I've said earlier on that some medications have already been ordered. We have signed contracts for supplies to be done. And not very far away from now, we will see some improvements in logistics to take care of our mental patients.
Lastly, this is not about mental health, but also related to drugs, this tramadol abuse that has also taken over the airwaves, people attesting to the fact that they are abusing it. I want to find out from you the latest as far as the ministry is concerned in trying to bring the situation under control.
Food and Drug Agency for now are doing only 50 milligram and 100 milligram content for the tablets. But what they have intercepted on the market around places where that shouldn't even be vended, you'll see incidents of 250 milligram tramadol pieces, 200 milligram tramadol pieces, which have not just been approved by FDA. That means that they have been smuggled into the country from countries close by and even far away, from India, China, Nigeria, other places. And people who are not supposed to even vend and deal in these medicines are holding them. So it is not just a problem for health, it's a problem for those who are monitoring our borders to ensure that illegal substances and goods don't come into the country. So it's becoming a multi-sectoral sort of challenge. The fact is, why are our young people taking to this type of thing? People get themselves involved in narcotics. These have become a bit expensive, and therefore painkillers like tramadol and codeine and cough mixtures and things like that are available on the market. And we don't know how they got that technology, what made them feel, got even to discover that some of these things can be used for the type of things that they are looking for. It is true, we can't hide from the fact that these things are not good for our system. So we are working on it. We're mounting up and scaling up our advocacy and public education on the abuse and use of these substances.
Hey, ladies, so we've heard what the minister said. What do you think?
Well, for me, it's worrying that, first of all, when we look at the statistics, that out of 10 people, 4 Ghanaians possibly have mental illness or some form of depression. And yet, we're not upfront with the issues of financing it, ensuring that whatever mental health needs, mental health care needs is done. The executive director didn't have to say this for us to know that it's an issue. And it's consistent. This is not the first time we are hearing that there are issues with the mental health facilities in Ghana, or there's no funding. I mean, last year, if I remember very well, there was a strike action by some of the nurses because they didn't have supplies, they were agitating.
It happens every year.
It happens every year. I mean, we're so tired of hearing the same story. It's a broken record. We need to get serious with these issues. Mental health is not something we can joke around with.
We don't take health seriously. Why would you wait? Many other ministries have received their budgetary allocation. And when something as important as health hasn't received it, and we flippantly say it and we're okay, like, let's just anticipate it because it will come, but we don't know when. It's just unfortunate. I don't know how many times Dr. Kwesi Osei for me has actually been able to do so well for the Mental Health Authority, in the sense that every year we hear him say this and he hasn't relented on his efforts. But I'm wondering, at what point will we literally frustrate him to the point where he gives up? Because see, mental health doesn't have to be overt. Interestingly, it tends to be actually covert, and then it, blows out to be overt. So if we actually took care of many of the mental health issues in the basics, then it wouldn't even become exactly what we have. And so it's high time we deal with it, nip it in the bud. So when he comes to talk about it, let's not say, oh, there he goes again. Let's take it as a real issue, deal with it, and curb it once and for all. But I guess, that has been it on the mental health issue.
Yes. So on this note, we'll take a very short break and continue with the rest of the show. Please stay and stay with us.
Welcome back. On Career Woman for today, we're going to be having a quick discussion and getting to know Philomena Esinam Afi Antonio, who is the founder of Afi Antonio Foundation. She's a young woman who is doing many things. She's a model, a TV producer, a presenter, an actress, but more importantly, she's also the founder of Solar for Girls, which is a foundation that seeks to help girls. But more recently, she's also been driving a campaign to support 2 young ladies who have a syndrome called the Warrenberg syndrome, which unfortunately, if they don't get help very soon, would totally lose their hearing and their ability to speak. We're going to see this quick documentary on her and what she's doing, and when we come back, we'll continue with the show.
I started Solar for Girls and the other things before I registered the foundation. So now everything will now go under the foundation. And Solar for Girls seeks to provide solar lamps to SHS final year students in villages that do not have electricity. Not like they have and the light goes off, but they don't have electricity at all.
They are just not on the national grid.
At all. So they live in total darkness. So my team and I, we decided to help these students, because if you should compare students in villages to students here in Accra, there's a big gap between them. So I'm like, how can they all write the same exams? They don't have a lot of logistics to help them. Even learning materials, they are not privileged to have a lot of that. Even teachers go there and they come back to Accra because of the living conditions.
So what has been the impact so far?
So far, it has been good. The sad thing is, this year we've not been able to do any because of funds. Normally, I raise funds through my social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn. So the little money that we get, we add something small to it as a team, and we buy the lamps. The same money we take out our transportation, and we have to sleep there like for one night, because we go to the homes of the children that receive the lamps and make sure they are using it, and also educate their parents, because some of the parents take the lamps from their children. The last time, a parent was preparing banku under a hat, and she was using the lamp whilst the child is supposed to be using it to learn.
It's a very good project that needs to be supported. Have you reached out to the Ministry of Energy,
my dear,
the national stakeholders on this sector that can help?
I only tried meeting one MP. We were going to his constituency, so I was thinking because of that he would love to help. And the story is funny. I went to him, I told him everything, and he was like, oh, if he has something to give his people, he would love to do that himself. He wouldn't pass it through a third person. And I was like, oh, honorable, but you probably haven't thought about this. So since we are already doing it, when we go, we'll say,
back to your people.
Yeah, we'll say it's from you. We'll still say it's from you, and we'll take videos and come and show you that we said that. We are not going to say it's from us. It's from us. So he was like, no, he still would send it to them himself, but he's advising us to rather go to one village, which is after his village. They don't have hope of getting electricity now, but with his town, they have the poles. So they will have light soon.
Wow.
And he directed me to another village. So then I just decided not to do anything.
Well, maybe we can't just give up on that completely. Maybe we would have to try and also even try other national organizations that would, and I'm sure there may be some help there.
Hopefully. We've been doing this for 3 years.
Wow.
Yes. And this year would have been the 4th year, but we've not done any this year. Wow. We are trying to think of ways to add a business aspect of it so that even if we don't get help, we'll be able to sustain it.
That is not the only thing you do.
No.
You also have other projects helping girls with autism.
Yes, not only girls. One of the mothers of the girls posted a picture of her daughter on Facebook and said that she needed help. The daughter wants to be a photo model, and if anyone is out there and will be willing to help. I'm a photo model myself, so someone commented with my name, and I saw the post. So I contacted the mom and I said I could have a photo shoot with her. I had already booked a photo session with Kweku David, and so I called Kweku David and asked him if he would be okay coming with Nanaya, the girl with autism, to have a photo shoot. He said, oh, it was okay. So we had a photo shoot, and then there was this blogger who sent me a message on LinkedIn saying he wants to help me with my stuff, whatever I do, he'll blog it and all that. So he helped spread the photos and did a story for us and everything, and it went viral. BBC saw it, they were interested to come and see the girls because they were like, it's not possible to see people with autism compose themselves in pictures like that. So that's how it all started. After Nanaya, I had another mother reaching out on Facebook when she saw Nanaya's pictures. She also said she has a daughter who she wants to be a photo model in 11 years. She also joined, and then we had another girl who joined. So I have 3 girls now and 5 boys. So we had a show for them where they exhibited their talent. It was called the Autism Talent Show. So we had it in April, on the 14th of April. It went so well. People were shocked at what they could do. Some could bead, draw, paint on canvas and all that. So it was amazing. So I'm glad people can now see the positive aspect of these children, not to see like they are a burden, they are hopeless and all that. I'm glad I could do this for people to also know that these people are normal in their own way.
How did it all start?
So let me say, it started by, okay, when my army thing failed me.
And I want you to tell us about the army thing because I read about it and I was like, wow, I never knew about this.
Okay.
I read so many things about you, and then on one of the blogs I saw after failing entry to the army, I was like, wow, have you tried that too?
Charlie,
tell us about that
it's not easy. So I'll cut it short. I wanted to join the army. My dad is an old soldier. My brother after me was also in the army. So I wanted to join the army badly. When I see the women in uniform, I just love it. So I tried it. I went in for the officers course because my age was over the regular recruitment. So we went to write the exams. We went through the medicals. The last place for the medicals was seeing the dentist because we had done all. They would take your skin, check everything, a lot of things. I tell you, you take everything off with just your bra, your panty. They'll check if you have any tattoos, any scars.
What has all that got to do with military?
I have no idea. So, okay, everything. The dentist told me that he's sorry, he can't pass me. I was like, why? My teeth wasn't this well arranged. It was kind of zigzag. So he said I would have to correct and reapply. I'm like,
your
why?
Teeth?
Yes, my teeth.
Wow.
I was like, why? He says, because I'll be an officer. They don't want any mistake or fault on an officer. If it were to be regular, they would have just passed me. I was like, okay, so can't I be correcting it whilst I'm in the army? He said no. I was so disappointed. And I was like, okay. So I later went to Kolebu to try and fix it. And I met the same dentist there, Dr. Salifu. And I was like, Dr. Salifu, do you make me out? He said, no. I told him, I'm the lady you failed during the army. He was like, oh, yeah, so you still want to join the army? Yeah, so you're coming to go. I'm like, yes. So they now call me, when I go there, they call me the young officer.
So that ended your dream for the military?
Yeah. After I fixed my teeth, I was like, after the braces corrected it, the interest was no more. So I just forgot about it. And I was doing a little of media stuff. I did my attachment with GBC.
Okay.
And I did my national service with OM Studios. So I was enjoying that, and I just ended up there. And I wanted to be a model so badly, but I checked myself. I don't have the height, and I also don't have very straight legs. I have what they call knock knees. So I was like, how can I be a model? Because I see models to be perfect figures and everything. So I took some few pictures and I showed it to Bulldog. And I was like, what does he think? I want to do go into photo modeling. And he was like, yeah, the pictures are nice. I can do that. I was like, okay. So I started posting my pictures on High Five, Facebook, and I was getting the fans. I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. So that's how it started.
From a disappointment into the military or the army, you got your teeth corrected, and now I'm sure that has also influenced some of the things you do now. Well, so in wrapping up, what would be your advice or words of encouragement to people out there who get disappointed, especially when they fail in trying to do something and then they just give up and they are home and they think that's the end of life?
Before I go to that, I'm also currently running a project on 2 kids that have blue eyes, Waardenburg syndrome. I'm trying to raise funds for them so they can have a surgery done to make them hear. They can't hear? They can't hear and they can't talk for now because of the condition.
How old are they?
They are 2 years. And when they turn 3, the surgery will be
Are they
useless.
twins?
No.
2 different girls with
one is
the
in
same
Christia,
condition?
Yes, and one is here in Accra. So I'm urging people to support us so that we'll be able to raise the amount to have them go through the surgery. The surgery can't be done here in Ghana unless SA, India or the US. And it's very expensive.
So how do we reach you? Any number, any contact to reach Afi?
On all my social media, I'm at Afi Antonio,
Wow. Afi is doing a lot of great things. We encourage you to please reach out and support Afi, and you can do that by sending her money through the mobile money number 0246 827 858. It's 0246 827 858. Or you could call her and discuss possible ways of supporting her foundation, and her number is 020 603 7620. Please do support her. It's a worthy cause.
Welcome back to the show. On Lifestyle today, we are discussing how to keep our nails looking healthy and gorgeous. We know that our nail is an essential part of our lives, but most often one of the most overlooked areas. So we are sharing some few tips to maintain healthy nails.
Welcome to the Nice Nails Beauty Studio, the Osu branch. They actually have several branches across the capital, but we are currently at the Osu branch meeting with some experts when it comes to nail and beauty. We are meeting one of the nail technicians to take us through some basic steps in dealing with nail extensions the proper way while also maintaining proper nail care. So hello, good afternoon and welcome to Kaptured by Women.
Hello, my name is Efia. I work at Nice Nails Beauty Studio at the Osu branch.
Tell us, we would want to know the proper ways of taking off nail polish and the nail extensions, because some people have the habit of doing it with their teeth, peeling it off and then trying to break off nail extensions from their nails. But what is the proper way to go?
All right, thank you. We've had a lot of experience with clients, as you said, taking off their nail, their polish with their teeth or trying to scrub it off and all that. But the proper way to take off nail polish, first of all, is to use a polish remover to clean it off. It's as easy as ABC. You just soak the remover in the cotton and just clean it off. And the proper way to take off extensions, it may be gel or acrylic, is to soak it in an acetone. It may take a while, but trust me, it's the proper way because it doesn't cause any damage to the nail.
So this cleaning with nail remover, is it so easy you can do it yourself in the house?
Yes.
Not having to come to the salon?
Yes, actually, with that you can do it anywhere. Like, you can do it in the house. You just get a remover from a beauty shop. Like we sell remover, we sell cotton, and just soak them in the cotton and just clean it off. But when it comes to soaking off the nail, that needs more of an experienced nail tech to do that. So I advise that when you're taking off a nail extensions, you should rather come into the salon, a nail salon, so that we do it the proper way for you. Because if you don't also do it well, you're going to damage your natural nail. We have clients saying, oh, I come in and, oh, I'm in a hurry, I don't want to soak off my nails, can you just take it off, I'm doing it again and all that. Yes, you are the client and you're always right. So sometimes we do that for the client, which is not the best way. But we always advise that you soak the nails off because they have a different idea for soaking off the nails, saying that it's going to spoil their nail plate and all that. But I want to make it clear, the acetone does not harm your nail. When you soak your nails in acetone, it can be in the whole day. When you take it out, it's dry. It's just that the oil around the cuticles and the nails will be dry. But when concerning the nail plate, that's where I'm going to work on. Acetone does not spoil it. So I normally soak it in an acetone. I pour a whole acetone in a bowl and put it in the warm water, put the bowl in, put the fingers in and just cover it and let it sit in for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then when it sits in for that, I just go like a finger and I just try to file it off, because the ones that are soft that the acetone has broken it down, I can just file it off, and when it's not done, I just go back and soak it in. Or some people don't want all the fingers to be in a bowl like that because they want to be free. So I just take a piece of cotton, I just soak the acetone in like that, take a finger, just rub the soaked acetone in the cotton around the finger, then just wrap it with a foil. The foil produces heat, so it's just going to help it break down the acrylic. Then for maybe 5-10 minutes, I also take it off, and you see, as it's gel out, then I just try to file it off. So that's the procedure to take off nails. It may take about 10 to 15 minutes, but sweetheart is the best way because I'm going to work on the nail again. So if I'm going to work on it again, I need to do it properly. So when I take it off like this, then I can go back because she's taking it off and she's going to do another extension because this one has been on it for about like a month. About a month, and she just want a new one.
I have been in salons where clients actually, I think I've even done it before. I'm in a hurry. Maybe you're in the office, you just dash to the salon. You're so much in a hurry. So you don't have the time to go through all these processes. Just break it off. And yes, so why is that a problem?
It's a problem because, first of all, you have to think about your nail. People always come in saying they're in a hurry, they want to do that. I have to be frank, we do it for them, but it's not the right thing to do, it's not the right thing to do because customers always request for that, but we do it. I have to be frank, we do it. I'm a nail tech, we do it, but it's not the best. The best is to dissolve the nails so that when you dissolve it, you're 100% sure that you have done the proper thing, nothing is wrong with the nail, and you can work on the nail better.
And then finally, about biting the nails. Some people, it's a habit. They have grown with it. Yep. Adults chewing their nails morning till evening. What simple tip can you give or advice can you give to help someone in the habits who has to stop? Why is it not good to even do that in the first place?
Oh God, my fellow nail techs, I need a help here because I am one nail tech that I bite my own nails. You see, and I've tried so many things, put this medicine around it. I've tried so many things. By the end of the day, I just go back to it, try to clean that bitterness away and go back to biting it. So I think it's a habit, and if I have to advise or not, it depends on one, please. Yeah, it depends on one. It's not a good thing. I have a lot of people that also come to the salon is that I'm coming to do an extension because I bite my nails so much, and it's embarrassing. My nails are always untidy and unclean, and they try to hide it, or they try to fixed nails to repair that, because when they do the extensions, they don't bite their nails, you see. So people filling with the extension, thinking that when they do the extensions, they will not bite their nails. But when they take it off one way or the other, they still go back to bite it.
An advice to ladies out there, or even men, because now men, they also need to keep their nails tidy and all that. So an advice to all of us on why we need to go through the proper ways of dealing with our nails.
Men come in, ladies come in to get their proper manicure and pedicure. Twice every month, cleaning, because especially, let me deal with the nails. Nails grabs dirt and everything, so cleaning nails is very, very important, and keeping it tidy, up to date too, is very important. And now too, it's a whole new fashion altogether.
So finally, can you direct someone who is watching and would want to walk into Nice Nails to have the proper nail care?
Yeah, thank you. Nice Nails Beauty Studio and Training Center. We have 3 branches. We have the Osu branch, which is on the Osu Abebesem Street, opposite the former African Market. And we have one at Keseman, in the same building with the Keseman Ecobank branch. And we have one at Oyarifa. It's inside the engine filling station. So we have 3 branches. So anybody around everywhere can also walk into Nice Nails or call us on these numbers: 0511 449 707 and 0551 449 704, 0551 449 709.
Well, so nails look good when they're well trimmed, well kempt. So certainly you want to do, those of you who have been chewing your nails, please stop. It's a very bad habit, and it could be a form of addiction. So you don't want to get the ladies nicely manicured nails.
Yes. Yes. We've learned a couple of things on how to keep our nails looking gorgeous. So we'll continue with that.
And it's really a no-brainer for me. Just, cut them
short, keep them short.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
It keeps the germs away. Anyway, guys, so we have been having interesting discussions. We started with free SHS and the issues that have arisen and how best we as Ghanaians can help deal with it. So it is a good policy or good initiative for all Ghanaian children. And also we spoke about mental health authority and the fact that we don't seem to pay too much attention to that aspect when it comes to health. Well, we are making calls to government to help Dr. Kwesi Osei and the Mental Health Authority to be well equipped to deal with these issues. Then we also spoke to Afi Antonio, who's doing great things in the field of helping children who have issues with lighting, and she's helping provide solar systems for them, and you want to contribute through the numbers we shared with you. Then we also spoke about our nails and how to keep them looking good. So on that note, we'll sign off, but we'll make it same time next week, 3 p.m. on your favorite station, TV3. We have been sponsored by Yumvita, a delicious way to grow. It has been myself, Petra, and Roseman, and it's goodbye from us.
Bye-bye.
Captured by Women is brought to you by Yumvita, a delicious way to grow.